people don't understand the real essence of a brand. They don't understand what a brand is. They feel that the brand is the logo and the colors and the matching symbols and all of that stuff. No, branding is beyond that. Branding is your image. Yeah. It's what people think when your name is mentioned.
That's true.
Right? So if you're not able to keep a standard of excellence, you would have failed as a brand too. Instead of that happening, give the client his money, let him work.
What is the slowest laptop you've ever used?
Okay. That thing took a whole 15 minutes to boot to desktop. Have you ever rendered a video for 28 hours before? No, we experienced that. Hi everybody, my name is Koded Clement. I am a graphic designer and product designer. I started off as a graphic designer, but at some point I decided to transcend into product design because I am someone that understands trends. I move with trends. I move with things that give me more money. I got into design, I think, as far back as 2008. And then when the whole design thing, the whole graphic design thing wasn't giving me as much money as I expected, I decided to delve into the tech space, which I did through product design. So that's what I do right now.
All right, everyone, we've heard from Koded. He's a really amazing person. He's a person I've worked with, and it's always fun working around him. And he's a very funny person. He's also a very funny person. Very funny person.
I think I'm an insult too, but no,
all right, so we're gonna dive into the questions. I have tons of questions here that I want to ask Koded. This is not just me asking Koded questions. I want you as a viewer or as a person who wants to go into the niche that he is, or who wants to learn the things he has known, to also learn from him, his difficulties, what he's been through, the things he has seen, the things he has conquered. You can learn from his story and emerge as a victor. So this is a good time for you not just to say, he's just sitting down, someone asking question. Learn from his story, and trust me, learning from his story, you're going to, get to build yourself, build your career, and become even more better. All right, so Koded, without talking so much, let's go to the first question. The first question is, how long have you been a graphic designer?
How long have I been a graphic designer? That's quite. I wouldn't say it's not a very. I'm not going to be able to give a very straightforward answer to that question because I know I took up graphic design, I think sometime around 2007. Then it was just CorelDRAW and what's it called? CorelDRAW, Photoshop 1.0 and the rest of them. And I think I picked up a special interest when I went to class and I was then we had computer schools, it's not all the whole packaged stuff that we have right now. Everybody doing product design, people doing just digital art. Everybody was just going to computer school at the time.
Yeah, that's true.
And all we were taught was CorelDRAW and how to use the shape tool and all of that stuff. And I think that was where I picked up on design. I have some very, 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 very terrible designs that I made back then.
Everybody has one.
I think I have a few of yours. You remember that drive you gave me and I copied from it?
Yeah.
I think I still have a few of stuff like that on my drive. And I look at it and I'm like, wait, does this young man even know what he used to do? So basically, I think it was 2017 that I started out, but professionally, I think I picked up graphic design around 2010. 2010, 2007, that's when I started out, and then I picked up professionally around 2010.
All right, that's an amazing story. Like having design that you've done way back, and it's really terrible. Everybody has one. I have lots of it.
The truth is, it was the best at the time.
Yeah, but actually, those designs were really hot at that time.
At the time, it was the best. People would look at it and tell you, "Yo, boy, you've done great." So we just thank God for growth. Yeah.
All right, yeah, progress is a very beautiful thing. That's why I keep telling people progress is a very beautiful thing. So it leads us to the next question. What did you study in school? Why I'm asking this question is that people, there are people who are maybe studying maybe economics, animal science, and they feel like, I didn't study computer science. They feel like graphic design is a tech stuff, is for
Yeah.
people who study maybe computer science, computer engineering, So I really want you, I don't know if you study anything related to that, but if not, I want it to be a challenge to people who are studying things like that, maybe animal science or something out of the tech line, to realize that it's not about what you studied, it's a passion, something you can dive into irrespective of your what you study in school. So can you quickly tell us, what did you study in school?
Well, coincidentally, I think when I started out, when I was looking for admission, I wanted to read history and international studies, but for some strange reason, I couldn't get into the university. So instead of staying home for a while, I decided to go into the polytechnic. And when I went there, the only course that was available at the time was mass communications, and that is what I read. I read mass communications, and I majored in TV and radio broadcast. But honestly, I haven't practiced for one day. I don't regret it. I haven't practiced for one day. I don't regret it, and I think yes, that's what I read. Mass communication.
All right, that's cool. And that moves us to the next question. What motivated you, and what is keeping you motivated? There are two questions. What motivated you to begin in the first place,
Okay.
and what is keeping you motivated?
Money, money, money. Is it that last question? It's just money, man. That's the only thing I think right now. Because okay, for what motivated me in the first place? I think I've always been a creative person. I used to like to experiment a lot as a kid. When you rip stuff apart, put them back together. The TV is bad, you try to fix it. You have broken charger, you try to put it back together. Actually, my parents would not have even thought that I would have ended up in the arts, right? Because I had the characteristics of what they called an engineer back in the day. And back then, our parents would always pay close attention to the things we could do, and then they would ensure that they push us in that direction. But mine was quite different. I think I would have loved to be an engineer, but I don't get hate for mathematics.
All right.
So I think what pushed me into it was creativity. I loved to be creative. I always dreamed of a job behind a laptop. I always wanted to sit behind a computer. Like from the first time my father bought his first computer, I think that was a Windows 98. The whole boxes stuff and all of that. And we had it back at the home, and I would just go sit beside him and watch him play with Paint and Microsoft Word and all of that. Before I even went to computer school, I always wanted a job that would allow me to sit behind the system, and I think that was one of the things that motivated me to go into class.
All right. We have a question about family, since you have actually, included family here.
Okay.
So I would like to bring that question forward, since it was down, down, down. So I want to bring it upwards. How has your family supported your journey so far?
Bro.
Have they been in support
I
since
have
day one?
In fact, truth is, if not for my dad, I probably would be wasting away in one public service office. The whole computer craze in between the early 90s, and the 2000s. That was when my father was also exposed to it, and he pushed me. He actually ensured that I learned, because, like I said, he brought in the first computer to the house. We had a computer in the house when the stuff was still very rare. My dad owned a business center at some point. Like, he was in the area we lived at the time. He was the only one, right, that owned a business center. So I think those things also played an important role into pushing me and making me take inclined, making me understand how these things work, how these machines work, and what they do. I think at some point when I couldn't get admission on time, he told me, look, come go to computer school, go pick up a few skills. And I think those are the skills I have improved upon, because going to the computer school, being exposed to Corel Draw, that is what they used to call it. They used to call it computer appreciation at the time. Being exposed to computer appreciation, getting to learn Corel Draw, the shape tool, and all of those tools. Coming back home, you understand, I had something to start out with. So my parents were very supportive. They were very, very supportive. They bought me my first laptop. It wasn't very fast, but I got the best. Like, I swear, if not, my dad, God bless his soul, he was the only reason I could like go into graphic design, honestly.
Oh, that's amazing. So, what was your first laptop?
Let me see. I think it was an Acer Aspire. I think it was a
Wow.
1218. I don't remember, but it was one of the small ones. That was the first laptop I owned.
All right, this question I want to ask you now is not part of the question, but it just popped out of my head.
Okay.
What is the slowest laptop you've ever used?
Okay. I think I have to do some real thinking now. Well, after I got my Aspire, a neighbor's kid came in and broke the laptop. Like, he fell it down and the screen got broken. So my dad refused to fix it. He told me that was my business. So I think the next laptop I got after that was one I got from one of my girlfriends back then. She was just like, "Hey, we have this thing in the house, but it's not working. You say they do design now. Come carry on." That thing took a whole 15 minutes to boot to desktop. So I think that was like the slowest PC I have ever worked with in my life. That was the slowest.
Mine was a HP Pavilion. It was, I think, Core i3.
It was slow, Core i3.
It wasn't like too
Mine had a
slow.
Pentium M and 2 gigs of RAM.
Mine wasn't slow for CorelDRAW. At some point I started After Effects, and
Oh yeah.
I had to wait for like 5 minutes
Have
when
you
I
ever
make a
rendered-
click.
Have you ever rendered a video for 28 hours before? No, we experienced that. Hey guy, you don't remember me something, no? At some point I started working for AKBC back then. I think it was more or less like we weren't like working for the company. We were just like it was more or less like a freelance thing.
Yeah.
So we would go out, shoot videos and come back and edit them. And my dear brother, we would edit these videos. It wouldn't take as much time, but when it got to rendering, it would render for 48 hours. And when it goes off, you have to start afresh. Jesus.
You need to understand that a good laptop is paramount to your journey if
Very.
you really want to improve faster, because it's really discouraging at some point, and probably maybe that's why people give up on the way.
True.
So let's get back on track. So the next question is, what advice would you give your younger self?
Improve. Keep improving. Don't give up. Don't. And then niche down. If I could advise myself earlier than now, I would have told myself to niche down, because truthfully, I was doing everything. Back in the day, if you go online and check for my brand name, you're gonna see cinematography from the pages I had back then. You're gonna see cinematography, photography, graphic design, event management. I was trying to do everything, and I think that's the advice I would give myself now: to niche down, to cut down. Pick one thing and be a master at it. That's the biggest advice I would give myself. Pick a niche and keep on improving on it. Do that consistently, and you're going to be a master at it. And that's the advice I'll give myself.
Let's go to the next one so that we won't make this video too long for our viewers.
Okay.
What's your worst and best client experience?
There was this one client that called me up. I think a client referred him, another client referred him. And he was like, "Mr. Koded, I hear you do graphic design. And I want you to do a full branding for my business." Okay. I told him I charge X amount of money, and he was like, "Oh, it's a lot. We're just starting out, And I'm like, "Okay, what do you want? What's your budget?" He now told me, "Okay, let me just try to add figures to it." I told him I'm gonna take 50,000. He said, "No, 50 is too much. Oh. I beg, we'll make him pay 10." I think we did a little bit of back and forth, and at some point we agreed at 25. He begged me. He was like, I should help him. And I was like, okay, let me help him. At least let it be that I've been able to contribute to somebody's brand story. But my brother, I did 3 samples, sent him, and he now told me that he did not like any of them. That was the beginning of my problem, because I did not know where to start. I did not know what to fix. I now asked him what's wrong with the designs. He said it's just not giving. The client tells you a design is not giving. You don't even know what to fix. He's not saying that he doesn't like the fact that it's a word logo. He doesn't like he doesn't pinpoint any. So I think we did a lot of back and forth, and at the end of the day, my brother, after wasting hours, I had to refund the money he paid and told him I was never going to do it again. And now what that taught me was that when you have a standard regards to pricing, right, do not go down for anything. truth is, you see those clients that are begging you to help them. When push goes to shove, when everything goes down, they're going to hold you by the throat, and you will understand that you've made the biggest mistake of your life. They are the ones that will drag your ass to court. Those kind of clients are the ones that will take you to the police.
That's true.
Those kind of clients are the ones that will come in and seize your equipment. Those ones that tell you, please, we don't have that much, please just help us. You see that help that they are begging you to help them. The moment you put your hands on that job, my brother, sorry, is your So that was my worst client experience. And my best client experience, I think, was I picked up, there's this client I worked with while I still had a very, very good active Fiverr account back in the day. We worked on the project. It was just a logo, and I think he paid about $100 at the time. And he was like, I like what you did. And the job was like, first sample I sent in was approved, and then a week later he texted me on the app and asked for my details, and I sent it in. He told me he wanted to do a full brand for another company. And I was like, okay, I charged him and he paid. And honestly, my brother, I don't think it took me 2 hours to do that job. And I think he was just like, the moment I sent in the first sample, they were like, it's good. Everything was just like that, right? And I think I got about $500 at the end of the day, and it was beautiful. The reviews I was getting, the customer was satisfied. You were handsomely rewarded. What more could you ask for, my brother? What more could you ask for? And I think that was the best client experience there.
That's really amazing. Indeed, it's truth be told, it has become a norm in the creative space that everybody who tell you they don't have money, or they'll end up stressing you.
They will have money to drag your ass to court.
I'm telling you. So since we are talking about client, there are some questions that are back, but I want to bring this one forward since what we just discussed now is close to that question. Do you sometimes think you charge too high? Is there anything like you charge too high?
I don't think so, because value is relative. So as a graphic designer, you should have standards. You are going to have to put a lot of things into consideration. You're not just charging for your time. There's sometimes you tell a client a job is worth, or a job is going to cost X amount of money, and they tell you okay, and they pay, and you like, they expect you to take a lot of time to come up with the job, or to finish up and deliver the job. But you deliver in 2 hours, and they're like, it didn't take you much time, it was so simple for you, why did you charge that much? And I always say, bro, I didn't charge. I'm not charging you for the job, I'm charging you for the time it took me to learn how to do it this quick, right? Because it took years of consistency, years of putting in the work, years of ensuring that I learned how to do this thing quickly, right? That's what you're paying for. You're paying for my expertise. You're not going to get that everywhere. I tell people, look, I charge you 100,000 for this. If you walk down to EBM Street, I knew you for kind of. If you walk down to it, you find someone that will pay you pay 2K for the same logo. We are being sincere,
but that's true.
So it doesn't change anything. Truth is, my logo is not going to be the same as what he's going to do. And then there are clients that come and tell you, look, please, we want you to do this for us. We want you to do this for us. And I do what is called client education most of the time. There are clients that come to you and tell you, look, I want a logo for my business. They do not even know the direction in which their brand should go. Some clients don't even need logos yet, right? But they think they do because they want to start a business. So what I do most of the times, and this is why most of them see value in my job, because I take out the time to explain to you why you need a logo. The difference between a logo and a brand, right? The importance of using certain colors on your brand based off of what you're doing, right? So these are the things that you would consider. These are the things that the guy on EBM Street will not be able to give to you, right? You tell the guy on EBM Street, please mix coconut water white and Agama lizard red.
He's gonna mix it for you.
He's gonna do it because that's what he wants. Just wants to give his money.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'll tell you, no, you can't do this. This is not right. The hierarchy on this is wrong. So the difference between me and the guy on EBM Street is that I know what the fuck I'm doing, and he does know what he's doing too. But then sometimes,
that's the problem I had with a client. So I think last week someone called me to come and work on something for them. So they okay, fine, I'm going to do it for you, and this how much I'm going to charge for this. Okay, I started working on it. I did one design, and he told me, okay, fine, that is good, I should make the logo bigger. And I looked at this design. If I make this logo bigger, it's going to spoil everything.
I know what you're saying, man.
I told him that I will not make this logo bigger. And if I make this logo bigger, it's going to spoil everything. That's how I refunded his money back. I told him that. This thing I talk about IBM Street, I told him, look, if you want somebody to make your logo bigger and the design will lose balance, go to IBM Street. You even pay less there. I don't mind, but this can't go out. Someone will see it and say, who did this?
And you mentioned in
And you
Daniel.
say Daniel did this. No, it's not possible.
When you're working for a client, you also understand that, like, people don't understand the real essence of a brand. They don't understand what a brand. They feel that the brand is the logo and the colors and the matching symbols and all of that stuff. No, branding is beyond that. Branding is your image.
Yeah.
It's what people think when your name is mentioned.
That's true.
Right? So if you're not able to keep a standard of excellence, you would have failed as a brand too. Instead of that happening, give the client his money, let him work.
That's true.
So we're not hungry, are we?
The worst thing you can ever do. Look, the worst thing that you can ever do as a creative is to take a job because you're hungry. Trust me, even if you are hungry,
don't take it.
Don't take it.
Say no, man. Say no.
Trust me, the worst deal you can ever make is when you are hungry.
You know, as we speak, there are people that call me and like, hey, Koded, I would have loved you to do this. It's this job I wanted you to do, but we don't know the money that we have. We don't know if it will be enough. You know, we it's small, low, but we don't know if it will be enough. I will not be asking how much. You know, because
it happens.
You know, because you've shown them that, look, I'm not cheap, and I'm not cheap for a reason. I'm not just cheap because I want to be expensive. No, I'm cheap because I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to guide you in the right direction.
That's true.
You're going to get value for your money, and whatever I do for you will stand the test of time in Nigeria and abroad. Okay, I do a brand logo for you that you're going to use in the next 30 years, and you are telling me that I told you to give me 200,000 and it's too much, or I told you to pay $600 and it's too much. How? Some clients don't see. Most clients that complain about these things don't even understand the value of what you're giving to them.
That's true.
Because I told a client once, bad design is even more expensive than good. There was a client that had an experience. When he came to me, he said, I want you to do a logo for me, do the branding stuff and all of that, and I'm going to pay you. I told him, look, I'm going to charge X amount. He said, okay, no problem, but he can't afford that. And I told him, it's fine. He took the one he told me he could afford, paid another graphic designer who did the job for him, but he was not satisfied. And now here's the funny part. The guy did the job. They sent the job for print. They printed on t-shirts, printed on caps, printed on, did a lot of, you understand? A lot of branded material. And when he now presented it to the client, because it was more or less like a third party thing, he was the middleman, the client refused to take the job. So now what happens? He has lost a lot more money than he would have lost if he had paid me. And on coming back, I told him, Oga, you're going to pay 60% extra. He lost a lot more money than he would have lost if he had paid me to do the job.
Let's just get to the next question. You know, we can talk about this all day because the next question is, what's your strength in graphic design? Is it logo design or flyer?
Honestly, give me 10,000 logos and I'll do them in 10,000 minutes. I'm not a flyer person. I have never been a flyer person. I do product design now, but I still do brand design. Brand design is like, it's something that I can just sit down. You tell me your brand name and I sit down and I'm ready. It's already
conceptualizing.
Coming. Yes, you know, sometimes I just close my eyes and it's just coming. with flyers, I have to leave. I have to go on Pinterest for hours.
So our next question is, from a scale of 1 to 10, how hard would you say it is to learn graphic design?
Well, I think that question is relative in the sense that the difficulty of learning is proportional to the interest of the learner. The concept of learning is wrapped around curiosity. How curious are you? How eager are you? Apart from what you learn in the classroom, apart from what you're being taught. Like I told you, the only thing we were taught in computer school was CorelDRAW, lines, pick tools, you know, and the feel and all of that. We had to pay tons of money to get on YouTube. Not now that we have so many tutorials on YouTube. In fact, one of the first skills I developed, you understand, was the skill of finding the right tutorial to watch. Right? Yeah, that was the first skill. That was the first skill we developed.
That's really hard.
You understand? Finding the right tutorial to watch in order to understand how these things work. Because you're going to have tutorials that will just sit down there for hours and hours and hours and say nothing. Yeah. Right? So we had to develop a way to know what will work by watching the first 5 minutes of the video. We know if we're going to get what we want from this video or not.
Yeah.
So, you know, it is curiosity that would allow you to learn or to create that level of understanding, right? So the most important thing for you as a learner is how ready are
I
you to pick up this? How ready are you to do? That is what is going to determine how hard it is going to be for you to learn.
All right, that's really beautiful. And with that, we have come to the end of our question we could. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so because we're gonna be, bringing in more creative people to actually advise you guys and then to tell their story. Because trust me, every success has a story behind. All of us came from somewhere to something. But you were talking about giving the company a branded mark. Do you still want to keep
like
that
I
off
like I
camera?
said, like I said, that was between a friend. That was me having a conversation with my friend, and that has nothing to do with you guys. But all I'm gonna say is, guys, please let's support Daniel Studios. Subscribe. What's the other one? Like, share the videos so that the people that need to hear these messages, they can come across it and have access to it. You know somebody, you know a creative on your timeline, you know a creative on your contact list, you know a creative in your church, in your school, in your classroom that needs to hear this so that they can be motivated, so that they can be inspired. So please share these contents with them so you could help them push through. Thank you very much.
All right, peace out.